Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. For those of you that have not had the dubious pleasure of meeting me, my name is David Keach. I'm the CEO of Connect Communication based in Hong Kong. I think all of us sort of secretly admire those people that seemingly effortlessly can stand up in front of a group of people, and when they talk, there's a silence that goes around the room. And the reality is actually we find it really quite difficult not to listen to these people, not to feel engaged by them. And invariably, when they finish talking, we walk away with some very sharp, focused, often some very compelling ideas. But equally importantly, we walk away with a very positive impression of them. The naturals, the Bill Clintons, the Barack Obamas of this world. Well, that's what this little series of videos is really all about, is lifting the veil on what the naturals are doing and distilling it down into some really very simple techniques that over the next month or two, I'd like to share with you. All right. Well, let's kick it off. Firstly, pace. Now, pace is fundamental in this game, and I'll guarantee one thing. If you get the pace wrong, you're going to blow it from the outset. And pace is one of the things that people do consistently get wrong. All right. Essentially, most people don't fully understand pace, so let me explain that. Interesting enough, there are two very distinct elements to pace. Now, the first one is really very obvious, and that is quite literally the rate at which we actually say the words. And interesting enough, in conversation, when we are natural and engaging and invariably communicating pretty much at our best, when we're relaxed, when we make a point, we say it quickly. Now, that gives it energy and vitality, drives natural intonation of voice, natural body language, all right? And it's perfectly okay for the listener. And one of the things not to do is do not slow down the pace at which you say the words. Now, the great temptation is that if you're inclined to go too fast, which is what many people will do, is that the only thing that you can think about slowing down is quite simply speaking more slowly. Now, if I was to do that and slow down the rate at which I'm actually talking to you, like now, I'll pretty much guarantee that the only effect that that's going to have is you're all going to go to sleep. Because what you do by mistake is you drain away the energy, that sense of passion, enthusiasm, commitment. All dies away. The voice becomes dull, flat, and monotonous. Ceases to move through its natural range in terms of tone and pitches and volume. So, in a way, sort of principle number one is when you make a point, say it nice and quickly. Say it as you would in a normal, lively conversation. Now, that'll give it energy and vitality. It'll drive the natural range in terms of tone, pitch, volume, etc. And it's perfectly okay for the listener. Why? Well, quite simply because that is what this is tuned into. All right. This is what we hear every minute of the day. People speaking quickly. Now, the reason we can get away with that is that there is a second element to pace, which is just a little bit more subtle. And it's what I call the rate of ideas. Now, by an idea, I'm not talking about some elegant and complex sort of new financial product or a view that you're taking on the market. No, by an idea, all I'm talking about is anything that you say which causes the listener to think, to form an image in their mind. And the sad reality of life is that the human brain, whilst it is enormously capable, cannot process information and listen at the same time. There are two distinct functions. We have a listening mode and a thinking mode, and we move between the two. But the one thing that we do not do is we do not perform those functions simultaneously. And so what you need to do is to give the audience chance to think about your ideas. Now, quite simply, that means you need to pause. Give them a bit of thinking time before you hit them with the next idea. Otherwise, all that happens is the whole process becomes this express train of ideas and information, and the poor old listener never really gets a chance to think about what you're saying. And in this whole game of communication, we do not remember what we hear. We only remember what we think about. And so give people a bit of thinking time before you hit them with the next idea. So pause. So very simply, in terms of pace, be natural, be conversational. And that means when you make a point, as I said, say it quickly, give it energy, vitality, pace, but then pause. Let them think about it. And importantly, give yourself a chance to think about what you're going to say next.